Welcome to Save Point, a show where we talk about video game news and topics that you suggest to us in the YouTube comments and on Twitter using the hashtag SavePoint. My name is Ryan Shepard.
And I'm Nick Rubio.
And this time, I'm not going to hold the bowl up forever because, like, in the last 3 videos, I'm just, like, Gollum on it. Like, it's the Ring of Power. Well, we're going to go right into one of your topics, and as always, we have a wonderful show for you.
Always wonderful. And we have a wonderful topic, speaking of wonderful things. Keto for the win gaming. Hey guys, question. What do you guys think about China getting its first ever console after being a long time having a bandit, aka Xbox One? Do you think it will benefit the gaming world or fuck it up? I'm a console hater. Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
I think even if you don't like console games, I think it's good to have a diverse ecosystem because it supports an environment where you can have more innovation and these people get more games and we all love games. So
some people just don't have access to computers that can actually handle most games. So a console is kind of an easy way to get into gaming for people who don't feel like they understand or know how to build a PC or buy a good PC to game.
Absolutely.
So, getting a console is like, well, here's a pre-built PC for you that's pretty much going to, at least in the Xbox One and PS4 world, will look up to par with, top-end gaming computers, or at least suboptimal gaming computers. So
and I think by having at least one console there, that'll probably encourage some people to get their own computers to play the games on.
Yeah, and even in a sense, because we're speaking of China, like it'll get more people. Hopefully, it's not too censored and stuff like that. Now actually get good games in there, and it will cultivate more of the gaming market in China.
Right.
And, who's to say that they can't come up or be as prosperous as, say, Japan in the gaming? I would love to.
I think
some good Chinese RPGs.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as far as like sort of facilitating that for the future with these young kids growing up to be game developers is consoles are a little bit more receptive for younger people, I think. I mean, I've been on computers pretty much my whole life, but I'm pretty sure I picked up a controller before I picked up a keyboard.
Yeah, you're not going to ask your parents, can I have this Intel processor and this NVIDIA card and this gaming mouse and keyboard? I'd rather just say, can I have an Xbox One?
So, on the whole, I think it's great. I'm really happy for the people in China getting that. I wish they didn't have to be going through all these crazy protests right now, but I think it's probably a good thing. But we're not a news topical show. We're talking about video games. Do you think that adequately answers that question?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope it answered your question.
Keto.
If we didn't, maybe ask us some of the finer points. And thank you for suggesting topics. I love it when people suggest topics. We both love it. We before we have the show, we print these topics out and we kind of just rub them on our bodies.
We pray to them. We drip the ceremonial Save Point oils on them.
Yeah, definitely the oils. You have to anoint them, and then it's very uncomfortable. This comes from Ian Actual, which is Ibidro?
Yeah, Ibudro.
Ibidro? Or is it Boudreau? I think maybe I is for Ian and Boudreau might be his last name. Look, I'm very sorry if I butchered the hell out of your name. But thank you for asking the question.
Because his name.
Oh, Actual? Yeah. All right, so into the topic. Just started Shadow of Mordor, and the Nemesis System could mean a great new direction for open-world games. Thoughts?
I honestly have always been a huge fan, even when they first started promoting the Shadows of Mordor, their first stuff that they opened up with before they even got around with the story. Get that out of there. We're gonna.
Oh no, we're gonna refish it out.
Anyway, was the fact that they showed off the Nemesis System. I thought that was the coolest thing, that you could. That the random orcs in the game could eventually remember you. The coding would learn who you were, learn the mistakes that you made, or the things that you did do or didn't do to that orc, and then it would later on affect the gameplay of of the late game. Like you'll find an orc. Remember how we were discussing on how our good friend Brotato was playing, and he died to a war chief, and it remembered him later on and taunted him with the fact that he died while fighting it. Now he's possessed by a ghost, so he doesn't really.
And what's nice is that it isn't sort of like, okay, they become a chieftain, or not, rather they become they can be promoted into a captain, and then suddenly it goes to the scripted default captain voice. Like they sort of retain this sort of personality that's seemingly unique almost every time. Like they must have gotten a lot of people to voice these orcs.
They probably did. They probably either that or they have some voice actors doing a lot of different voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it definitely they did it in such a number that you won't hear the same one too many times over. I'm sure if you play it enough and you sleep with it at night, you'll eventually know the orcs by name.
But I I think it's very promising for the future of AAA games, especially.
Steps up the plate.
Yeah, because increases in dynamic AI is so important because for a long time, AI has been overlooked as a not important thing. Graphics and I guess
technical aspects.
Yeah, technical aspects.
How many things can you have on the screen at once?
Right. How many particle effects you can have has been more important than how smart your enemies are in the game.
And that's always been a pet peeve for me.
I recall we recently, it was probably a couple months ago, we read an article that was talking about at one point when they were making the AI better and smarter in games, that testers were less happy because it was more challenging and they became frustrated. So this led these developers to say, well, maybe we shouldn't worry about the AI and we should just worry about other things.
Which is unfortunate because games should be challenging, or they should at least have more challenging modes. And I've always been a big, you know me, I've always been a big promoter of harder difficulty shouldn't mean more health.
Yeah, exactly.
More damage dealt to you. I shouldn't play a game and get, if I play a game on normal and I get shot, it should do the same amount of damage of me playing in a hard difficulty and getting shot. Like, the difficulty doesn't increase bullets damage.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I think it does a lot for the immersion of the game. It's almost like when you're talking to a game, by putting inputs into this game through the controller, you are in a way communicating with it, and it doesn't really communicate back. It's almost like you're typing things in and you're getting scripted responses back. And no matter what, this is obviously the case because it's a computer, it's not another person. But by making the AI in the game smarter, you're at least feeling like it's more of an exchange happening. You feel, I personally think you feel more connected to the content of the game.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like, and they should react to the environment around them, and developers in mind should take the fact that, like, this is the level and this is the enemies you're going to be combating this level. Like, I honestly, I love Halo, but you played Halo, and there's always a Covenant hiding behind the rock, gets up, shoots at you, he's hiding behind that rock, getting up and shooting at you.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't, you can just...
It's almost like a carnival game where they pop out, go back in, pop out. But, I mean, there's some complexity, but I don't think AI has seen a major improvement in years.
God, I'm trying to think of a game that I just recently started.
Before Shadow of Mordor, I can't remember the last game I saw. I was like, wow, the AI in this game is very interesting and very forward thinking, you know? And I really hope that AAA developers will see that people respond to this and really take to it and will use it as an opportunity to make more games with dynamic and more intelligent AI. Because it doesn't just have to be better at killing you, you know? Giving it more lifelike qualities. Like the fact that if you beat down one of the captains, that they will flee. And then they will kind of regroup and then kind of become stronger because of it is very interesting.
Yeah, and orcs will attack you in number and will run when there's little of them.
Yes.
Even the smaller orcs, if there's just two of them, they're gonna book it. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're not sticking around.
But I really take this as a great sign for the future of next gen or now current gen AAA titles, because people respond to it. That's the biggest thing, is that people respond to it.
Destiny, I felt that was the game I was thinking. Like, God, what game did I play recently that had?
I felt Destiny was very similar to Halo.
I don't know. Playing Destiny, I felt like the AI did a few more things that kind of impressed me more. Like they did more flanking and did more. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I was just kind of impressed by the grand scale of it. But I felt like the enemies were more complex than they normally are,
and they probably were to some degree. Yeah. But, I really hope that bodes well, and thanks so much for suggesting that topic. I hope that adequately answered it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did I read the last one? You should read this one.
Yeah, but before we read this, we're going to cut to a break now.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that part. Yeah, so what we're doing here is, because of some technical limitations, it's easier for us if maybe we have an ad midway through rather than like a pre-roll ad. And again, we're still trying this out. We've only done it once before, so if it irks you and you don't like it, go ahead and leave us a comment below saying, hey, don't do this anymore, I hate your guts. But for now, we're going to cut to a break, and we'll be right back after this.
And welcome back.
I hope that ad was so interesting. That product is so appealing to me.
You probably skipped after 5 seconds. Let's be real.
But thank you for bearing with us through that.
Big Fry from Twitter, at Big Fry TV. Super fan, I'd say. Mm-hmm. You know who we haven't seen?
Who?
Joe Malley.
Yeah, Joe Malley's been in the rafters, hiding.
Yeah, where's our good buddy Joe Malley at? What are your favorite horror games? Hashtag because it's Halloween. Haha.
Yes, it is October, so it is the month. The one that resonates with me the most still is probably Doom 3.
Definitely Doom 3 is a definite favorite
dude,
for
you know
me.
what we have to talk about?
Dead Space?
No.
What?
Sanitarium?
Oh god, yes. Well, that's like a weird, like, I don't even, that's more like surreal horror.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't, like it didn't do much to scare me,
Yeah.
but it did a lot to freak me out.
I found it very unnerving. Like, it was a very unnerving game.
If you guys don't know, Sanitarium is an old PC game. Old PC game. It had like 6 discs.
Not like a point and click kind of character, you know.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Diablo.
Yeah.
Like the original Diablo, you point and clicked and you had to like figure puzzles out and stuff like that. Very old game. Very good game if you want. You can buy it on GOG for like $2. That's what I did. I have the game and it's an awesome game. Anyway, that's a great game. The original Dead Space was an amazing horror game just because I read an article about it. I don't remember where I read it, and I'm sorry to the author of this article. But it talked about how it was the article talking about how where Dead Space like lost its Dead Spaciness, and it was talking about how what Dead Space 1 did so well is the fact that everything was so gigantic and everything was so grand and huge, but like when you got down to it and you were playing it, you still felt claustrophobic. Yeah, like it did such a good job of making you feel like you were closed in,
and that it was like everything was coming from every side.
Yeah, like that was such a good game.
And then looking forward, Silent Hills looks really interesting, but I've always had this thing where I love horror games and I enjoy playing them, but I can only play them for like 30 minutes at a time because I get like stressed out. And I know it doesn't happen to you, but it happens to me where I'm just like, I'll sit like, I need a breather. Like I need to calm down a little bit.
I beat all of Dead Space 1 the day before Dead Space 2 came out.
just like whatever.
It was a great game. Looking forward though, I really think I'm going to enjoy Evil Within. I've been watching. Yeah. I watched Adam Sessler. He sat down with the crew who made Evil Within and had conversations with them. And he sat down with Shinji Mikami, sat down with the creative arts director and the creative sounds director, and like talked.
Was Guillermo there?
No,
Guillermo Silent Hills.
Silent Hills.
I'm sorry, Japanese games.
I'm sure Sessler, come on, you got to do a Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro.
That'd be awesome. I would love to be a fly on a wall in that room.
But Guillermo del Toro has to speak in Spanish and Hideo Kojima has to speak in Japanese.
And he's just like, he's just nodding his head like, oh yes, video games.
Yes. Looking forward, I do think Evil Within is going to be a great game. I honestly, I'm really excited and curious to see how it's going to play. I mean, I could see a lot of influences of movies and other games other older horror games in it. So I'm looking for it to be like kind of a revival of the survival horror series,
Yeah, definitely.
Alien Isolation.
I'm super excited for that too. I love that. That's going to be so cool.
I mean, that's going to be a very visceral game. You're going to, that's going to make you feel like that's all.
Man, what was that game that dropped off the map? Do you remember the one where like it was kind of sci-fi? The scanner thing.
Yeah, the robot one, the one on the moon, Mars or whatever.
Yeah. What was it called?
Reboot or re something, Recode.
I can't remember. Sharky Hat knows because I remember he was excited about it.
Yeah, that game. I think it was like Recode or something. But that game was definitely something that
It's gonna bother me now.
I really, really wanted to play that game.
Yeah, I hope they're still working on it when it comes out.
I really want to play the Among the Sleep game too.
Oh, is that the baby one?
Yeah, you play as the toddler.
I watched gameplay of it and it looks okay, but it's very indie. I don't know, but it's an interesting concept. Like I feel like there's so much with horror that you could do that. We're not exploring too much in games, not yet. Like,
I feel like the horror avenues people take are very conventional.
Yeah,
like there's not.
You have like slasher game slash movies, and then you have like your typical like monster.
I feel like there's the horror games these days are trying to appeal too much to the action-y side of things because they're like, well, people, we want people to buy this for the horror, but we also want people who are in action games to try. Like, and I feel like that's not the way to go. I feel like horror has always kind of been a largely niche thing. Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of gotten away from that, and that's really degraded some of the...
Yeah, definitely. I would love to play a really good horror thriller, kind of like more puzzle-oriented game. Like, I kind of imagine like the game where like you're in like a manor, and like you have to kind of figure out what's going on. You find notes and you gather information. There are games like this, but nothing very recently I can think of.
I saw some gameplay from the Fatal Frame game, the new one. Yeah. And it didn't look... I remember
the original Fatal Frame
was terrifying, and this one just kind of felt very... Meh. Like, I don't know, I didn't get too much out of it. At least watching it, I didn't feel like it was something that I'd pick up.
And it's so cool because, like, wouldn't it be neat if, I don't know if Kinect can do this too much, but I know that PlayStation's, what are they called? Playroom? Mm-hmm. Like, it would be really cool. Like, imagine you're playing, like, Fatal Frame or something, right? And, like, you go to, like, take a picture, and then, like, you show up on the screen, and, like, the ghost is behind you or something in real life.
That's fucked
like,
up.
Like the Kinect or the PlayStation Eye camera, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Takes a picture of you and then, like, puts, like, ghosts and creepy shit in the background. And the Kinect and the PlayStation Eye are so underused for this idea of horror. Like, the fact that it can track your heartbeat. Where are the horror game applications? Like, you know, like someone's stalking you and they're like, I know you're afraid. You know? That would just be so cool.
It would be. It definitely.
They're coming. I'm sure the games are coming.
Yeah, but the Kinect and stuff definitely needs to be more utilized because it's such a powerful piece of technology that could be used for better things and not just like hand tracking and stuff like that. Like, you know, like you said, the heartbeat sensor and stuff like that.
But that's all I have. I don't know if you have any more.
No. What are your favorite horror games?
Absolutely. In the spirit of Halloween, let's talk about it. Or what would be like your ideal horror game? That's an interesting
a horror
question.
game that's coming out that maybe we didn't mention. You want to talk about?
But that's all we got for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And catch us next time. We're on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I remembered to mention that. Yeah.
And check out our other videos. We've been playing Gauntlet lately.
Yeah.
Watch us fail at that.
We're getting back into gameplay. And let us know, actually, if there's a certain game series you'd like to see us play or just different types of content. But anyway, we'll catch you next time.